Come on, you. Hey, family. Hey, Baltimore City. B Moore's Real Team Talk Show. B Moore's Real Team Talk Show. B Moore's Real Team Talk Show. Hey, you. Wait a minute. I might have turned this down. I did. What's up, Miss Lady?
Nothing.
You sure? That sounds too fast, too subtle. Nothing.
Oh no, I was just wondering what you were drinking.
My soda.
Okay, is it poppy soda or
No,
alcohol?
it's diet Pepsi.
Well, the sodas I mentioned, they have fiber in them.
They have fiber in them.
Yeah, like I eat fiber candy and I eat like fiber soda. They call it prebiotic soda.
You order them off of
Oh no, I did. They're in the store. They're at Target, Joel's, like any store, even 7-Eleven.
Is it sugar in them?
A little bit, but the fiber balances it out.
Oh, cause well, see what I was trying to tell uh Third the other day, like this don't raises my sugar up, right? So if I drink regular sodas or anything with sugar in it, like orange juice, soda, stuff like that, it will rise my sugar. So the only time I am supposed to drink something like that if it dropped. Excuse me, because when I drink something with sugar in it, it'll bring it back up. All right, Candy,
Right.
it'll bring it back up. But you see what the pump is behind me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I read up on it a little bit more too. Um, you know, I didn't I never read up about like how parents put childhood responsibilities on the child. So I always shared it from a personal level of experience, right? And it talked about everything, so basically it just makes me feel good because when I talk from a level of experience. And then when I do deeper research on that type of stuff, it explains everything that I be saying, you know. Uh Mainly, at 10 years old, and I was looking at my mother taught me how, like I said, she taught me how to cook, clean. So she put a lot of adult responsibilities on me. So basically, I made market, I paid the bills and everything. And I was young. So I wanted to go a little bit deeper with it and the effect that it has on the children as well when you do something like that. And that's one of the reasons why I shared too about not putting adult responsibilities on my children. I wanted them to live age appropriately. If they 10, be 10. Once you be turn like 13, be 13. You ain't got to try to act like you 15, 16, stuff like that. No. I wanted them to act their age. So that's why this inspires me to do the things that, create the stuff that I do. And sometimes people will make you feel like because you create certain projects like this that something ain't right. Well, I don't mean something ain't right in that sense, but like you shouldn't do certain things, and I'm like, no, no, because when I focus back, Hugh, when I started out with this and doing all that, and that was the way I was sedating my feelings, not really knowing what was going on with me. But that was my way of escaping life as a teenager. But you could not tell me during that time that I had any problems. But it was or I was going through certain things. It was actually a counselor that helped me understand that too. That anytime you catch a child or somebody young, and I'm looking towards the child up to the teenager, right? I'm looking at that. Anytime you catch them doing substance or doing certain things, if it's not because they're trying to be part of, or peer pressure, stuff like that, it's normally personal issues in the inside of coping with life. So it doesn't always have to be like grape or rape or stuff like that, right? It doesn't always have to be that. Or abuse. It doesn't always have to be those things. It could just be they were trying to be part of. And that's what it helped me understand too. That but most of them you can tell something ain't right by their destructive behaviors. And that's what it is. When they begin to get unruly and stuff like that, something somewhere inside is not right. So this is what provoked me to do the teen talk. And another thing, being an adult, to be able to talk about adult things, that most people kind of shove under the rug. So I'm looking at the person as a whole, the individual as a whole, from childhood on up to like when you become an adult. So from 18 to 21, well, once you hit 21 and you in your 20s, you considered as a pre-adult. Well, and then as you go up, you are an adult. But it's just us creating things for people to be able to express themselves and get out what's going on with them. And I'm gonna say some adults, grown people, some of them act worse than the goddamn children. They're gonna sit back and talk about the children. And I'm like, look at your behavior. You still, even though you 40, 50, 60, 70, your behavior can be real childish too, because you don't see that. It's more like I want what I want when I want it, stuff like that. But still, that's that child. That's that child.
They're offloading their emotional immaturity onto their children.
Right.
And kind of like blaming it on them instead of looking at how bad their parents are.
And guess what? I'm not saying no names, because I watched what some people was doing to you. And I feel like that's what they're doing. If they got children around your age, it's more like that old stuff that we grew up on. Children should be seen and not heard, and that's the stigma that I want us as older people to let go. Because we grew up hearing that stuff, but if you had a destructive lifestyle like myself, in a way, look how we turned out as far as from practicing certain behaviors to now. So that's why, Queen, that's why I do what I do. I get so sick and tired. And when I say that, I'm just sick and tired of the adults, who we're stuck in our ways and not realizing if you can't be honest with yourself, you can't be honest and truthful with your own children,
Right.
And then you wonder why your children don't trust you. And I'm talking about your adult children too. Your adult children. You wonder why they don't trust you.
Right.
Well, you got to understand the energy and how you put things out for them to not really trust you. Because adults will build up that wall. When even with trauma that's in their life, they will build up that wall of, I don't think intentionally they mean to hurt their own children, but if they've been hurt, it's a wall that's up. And they might use that wall not to let you too close, not realizing that they're doing more harm than helping. They're doing more harm by blocking you out when you're trying to do nothing but feel that love, that compassion, and that warmth of your parent. But some of them will build up a wall of protection. That's their way of, I don't want to put my hurt on you. But no, that's why you need to go get some help. Say it again, I'm here.
The Great Wall of China, and they kind of treat their kids like they're Mongolians.
I love it. I love it. Like they Mongolians. I love it.
Yeah. And on this panel, I'm kind of like Genghis Khan, I guess. Like, I don't know. But, like, I think I'm the mirror that reflects that, and they kind of think they can offload that on me, but they can't, So I think I'm the voice for their kids in a way.
You are. And to be truthful with you, hey, Conti, to be truthful with you, I have been noticed that. I've been noticed. That's why I was trying to find a way to tell you not to take however certain people come so personal, right? Because I don't think it's really intentionally. And I'm gonna say this because I learned, I didn't know that some mothers and daughters, it's hard for them to get along. I learned that throughout the process, right? I thought it might have been more harder. I'm not going to say the boys and the fathers. I'm not going to say that one. But I thought most women and daughters had excellent relationships. But I found out throughout the years from other women that it's hard. And I don't know if it's a woman thing, because of the cycles and all of that. I don't know.
It's a jealousy thing.
Right.
I missed out.
Yeah.
To be exactly like me.
Yeah.
Especially if the kid is different, then they kind of like, they don't want to accept that. Like, let's say like they were a bully in school and they have a kid who's a nerd. They will kind of hate that because they hate nerds in general. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's be personality mismatch.
And I'm glad you said that because my stepdaughter, the 31-year-old, right? She very, 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 very smart, right? Had photographic memory like her mother. Now, because of the people she was hanging around, they wasn't as bright or as smart as her, so she tried to dummy herself down. And I used to tell her, don't do that, because the whole thing is people gonna love you for you, if they call themselves really being your friends, they're gonna love you for you. And these are the things that I used to have to tell her. And she used to, and like some of her friends would be around, and I would talk about how smart and intelligent she is. She ain't like it. She ain't like it when I would say it. She was like, because in a way she didn't want them to know, because that's how they looked at you as a nerd, But I wanted people to look at me as a nerd. I was always the type of person that when somebody going through something, I took up for you,
Right.
All through school. I took up for you. And I realize now, I'm grown. I still take up for people. Like Steve.
Right.
It's like it's the little things I see, that followed me into adulthood. But I was on Real Still Live, right? Hugh House invited me over there. Oh my God. I went to sleep. I went to sleep last night. I got up about 5 this morning and I just glanced through my stuff to go back to sleep. And House had invited me over there, and it was really, really spiritual. It was really nice. But no matter how you glorify the spirit, you talk about God and you go through certain things, and that good vibe, spiritual vibe be going, and then all of a sudden that thing will shift, and then it's about bringing it back, because you get people who talk good, feel good, sound good, but you realize it's all a facade,
Yeah.
and me, I tell everybody I gets loud. I gets very, very loud, and I love to talk. So I could sit back and watch everybody else talk for about 5 minutes, And when I do it, they got something to say. I was like, well, I be goddamn, you ain't realize you was over there talking for about 5 minutes. You the main one talking with everybody else. But the moment you open your mouth, and I don't know if it's a point of them feeling they hear your power in you. They hear your
That's happened to me too.
right. That's why I was saying it. Because of who you are and your boldness, your power, your strength, they can feel it in you, and it'll make them feel sort of intimidated, right?
Right.
And my thing is be yourself. And I found myself encouraging people, empowering people. And when I do that, I found out that a lot of people I do that too don't even believe in their own selves. So that's one of the reasons why I said I was going to stop, like telling people that certain people that you are a spiritual inspiration. You are letting God use you because they hear it, but in a way they don't believe it in themselves. And I realized that how some of them respond back because they talk a good game, but it's like, it's all about sounding good. If you compliment me, I'm gonna tell you thanks. Because number one, if you say, I love the way your spirit is, I love what you're doing, blah, 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 blah. Because you complimenting me, be honest with you, is like you complimenting God. It's the God in me, right? And not to say, yeah, I'm the man, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I can say it, but a lot of times I say it out of joking, and I'll say it because people don't realize it takes a lot of courage and confidence to do what we do.
Right.
And I'm like, it's times where my self-esteem, or I might not just feel like being bothered. And then I gotta tell myself, all right, Steve, stop. It's get ready to be 6 o'clock. Go ahead on. And I don't want to keep doing that. I don't want to like have to push myself in that sense. Not all the time, but most of the time. I'm trying to be consistent. I'm trying to be consistent, but some people, I don't think they realize just that little time it takes to come on here and just, be so outspoken about stuff. Where a part of me is more like, no, I don't feel like it. I want to lay down and do something different, because it's more like that selfish and self-centered person, but rather than allowing that person to take control, it's like, okay, I'm gonna ignore that physical side of me and allow God to use me, that voice. And no matter how you explain that to some people, if they haven't experienced that, or if they not there, they won't understand. They won't understand. They'll label you everything else. But they don't realize it.
Oh, you think you're better than me? Oh,
Yep.
You're holier than now. Oh, you never made a mistake. Oh, you're judging me. Because God calls us to judge righteously, but not ruthlessly.
See, I thank you for saying that, because that is so true. And the thing with that, right, my goal is not to judge anybody, because I already know. I can tell you straight out. I don't care who you is. I'm talking about me. I ain't striving to be perfect today. Because I realized when I first got clean some years and years ago, my goal was to be perfect. And I found out trying to be perfect, it was like I almost lost my freaking mind. I almost snapped. If your left eye caused your right eye to sin, pluck it out and all this type of stuff. And I said, I can imagine how many people done pluck their eye out for trying to be perfect. If you see a beautiful woman, right, and then you say, wow, she beautiful, she's sexy, she this, she that, that don't mean you sinned. You recognize the beauty. Now, if I sit back and go, whoa, come here, girl, now you did wrong, Steve. But see, people will take it to that extent, but you can sit back and you can look at somebody, vice versa, man, woman, and recognize the how attractive they are and identify with that and say it. But that don't mean you want them. You just recognize the beauty in it. And that's what I had to understand. You know, you are beautiful, you are sexy. Now, am I gonna walk up to a woman and say, "Dang girl, you got a big old butt"? Come on, that's disrespectful.
Right.
I'm not gonna do it. But I learned that. So I learned, I'm gonna say in a lustful way, that I can admire your beauty. I can say you are sexy, you are gorgeous, you are this, you are that. But that's my way of embracing your spirit too, or embracing your self esteem, because I don't know how you might feel. So to say you are sexy, to say you are gorgeous, or to say you are beautiful, and just to say it, I'm not saying I want you. I want to knock you down. I want to do this and that. Not to that degree. For some, I had to straighten it out. But for the most part, no, no. It's recognizing who you are as a beautiful person, you know. And I could be just talking about your personality. But now, if you don't believe it in yourself, Conti, if you don't feel that stuff in yourself, no matter what I say out my mouth, she ain't gonna believe it. You get me? She got to feel it in herself. Just like I look at myself, right? And I look at myself and I'm like, well, I'll be 64, right? Somebody might say, oh yeah, he an old man, oh he this and that. You can say what you want. When I look at myself, I'm like, damn, I don't look old like most people my age do. I'll be looking at myself like right now, and I'll be like, Steve, you're a good looking goddamn man. You know, but then when I look at things and I say that, I'm looking at life too as a whole, and how I try my best not to allow life challenges and situations wear me down or look like he look like he's stressed out. He look like he going through this. He look like he going through that. I try not to. So when I look at myself, it's like, and I do stuff like this, and I might be feeling a certain way inside. I'm not letting it get the best of me. That's how I have to do stuff. So I don't, and it's not to judge nobody else. I can't go that route with you. I got to do what I got to do for Steve. But I'll tell you what I do when it comes to certain things. That's why I go past the mirror and I do a double check. Like, man, come on, you're a good looking dude, boy. You're a good looking dude. Come on. So if you tell me that, I ain't saying you, Hugh. If a woman tell me that, oh, you're a nice looking man, or you handsome, or something like that, and I'm like to myself, you know, I know, because I tell myself that all the time. You know, I'm a well-dressed man. I already know. I know all of that. So when people tell me stuff like that, I'll just go like, oh, thank you. You know, it's a compliment. I don't go on my head and say, oh, she want me and all that. You know, no, no. And I ain't talking about how some of the men be sitting up there flirting with me, and I be like, look.
Right.
You all right? I don't go like that. All right? I mean, I understand.
Yeah, just because people confuse giving people like basic respect and kindness means that they like you. Like you joke with someone or you hype them up, they think that you like them.
Right. And see, that's why I have to, Hugh, for the work that I do. And I always tell you, I have to let, mainly you know, because I deal with mothers and children. I always have to let them know my goal is to help you, not to take advantage of you. And I know I can if I want to. And I thank God, Hugh, and I can't say it enough, Conti, I can't say it enough. I thank God for the years that I've been doing what I've been doing as far as working with women and children. I have not stepped across that line. And oh Lord have mercy, when you hear me stuttering like that, I didn't have some beautiful women come in my house, bro. You know what I mean? But Conti,
I think with the
come on, you.
I was just gonna say with the
up, brother? I mean, he just wanted to let me know that he has some nice looking women in his past. I think that's
right.
Had a little drink there. Yep.
Man, don't be talking about that little. That's a Diet Pepsi. Stop playing, Conti.
Right. I was just gonna say with the prompt, like children parenting their
Yeah.
parents, emotional labor or modern day slavery. Like the modern day slavery thing, that's a little bit hyperbolic, but sometimes it can be, especially when the women, regardless of the circumstances, have a lot of kids like back to back, and there's this older one who's kind of like the third parent or the second parent. That can basically turn it into modern day slavery because they're not really being paid, right? I mean, yes, they have a roof over their head and food in their belly, but that's the basic things that a parent must do, especially if they don't want to end up in jail. So that's not really a flex. That's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So it can lead into that, like kids raising kids, and then that's taking away their childhood. So it's like having like a indentured servant, basically.
And and thank you for going back there to Hugh. That's why when you hear me say certain things, being a teenager, all through my teenage years in my 20s, I had to play the role of an adult. You get me? So it's like I didn't have a chance to enjoy my youth because I was running around doing what I was doing, then, getting high. So I didn't have the chance to just enjoy my years. And I believe by the time I got clean and I was in my 30s, I was trying to act like I was still young. Mainly Conti, I didn't know that like when rap came out, the big baggy clothes and all that type of stuff, right? I had went and brought me an expedition. You could not tell me I wasn't a hardcore, look, come on, baggy clothes, all that stuff, right? And I stayed 29 for about 11 years. Now watch it. I stayed 29 years old for 11 years. By the time I turned 40, I accepted the fact. I'm like, Steve, you getting old, man. Because I was acting like I was young as all outdoors. So I had to, come on, Steve. So that kicked in. But I was trying to recapture those lost years,
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I said I'm glad you took it back, because this is some of the stuff that parents needs to know, that when you turn around, and I know, even I'm gonna go back to my mother. By her having 7 children, and she had to work to maintain it. 7 children, 7 different men. I don't remember none of the men helping my mother. Sending them. They might have sent the money. I don't know, but I know my mother maintained basically everything by herself. But anyway, I watched her, and I watched the responsibility she put on me. I remember frying my first chicken and all this type of stuff. I was about 10 or 11. You know, I remember all of
Burn
that.
the house down.
No, I did good. The chicken didn't. It was a little bloody, but I ain't wanted to say that because I wanted to act like I was a chef at 10. But anyway, just taking on that. I remember making markets. I remember, cleaning up the house, doing all the regular stuff, making sure my brothers and them was okay, going back and forth to and I'm young. And I remember when my brothers and them was in job, well, I'm getting ready to say Job Corps. What is that? Boys Village and all this type of stuff. I remember as a teenager or as a child, 15 years old, teenager, riding back and forth to Hagerstown, Jessup, to see my brothers and stuff. And I'm young, catching a van, stuff like that, right? I'm young. And as I begin to get a little bit older and I look back at that bull junk, I'm like, God darn, I didn't even have a life. I did what I did, but I didn't have a life. So I'm looking at all of that cooking, cooking Sunday dinner with my mother. If my mother cooked pig feet, she fried chicken. If she cooked the ham, she fried chicken. So I'm used to doing that now. But then because I'm a diabetic, I had to back up off a lot of that stuff. Yeah, all that. Hug mugs, pigtail, collard greens, and
I wanted to say really quickly, like, yeah, that could be a bonding activity, you know, cooking with your kids, making cookies and things of that nature.
That's
But
different.
it gets to a problem when you rely on them to do it. Like, they have to do it. It's not like a family cooking together type of thing. It's like, oh, I need dinner ready. You know, I've been at work all day. I need you to have my food on the table.
That's why not being smart, Hugh, when I hear women say certain things about like they be cooking and they be doing this and they taking care of this and they taking care of that, and I be wanting to say so bad you ain't the only damn one. I'm getting tired of this shit.
So funny. What up, Steph?
Alrighty, what's up, nephew? I be look. When I hear it, and I had to catch myself, right. All men this, all men that. Men don't do this. We do all that. I be saying to myself, y'all can cut that bullshit out.
Listen, as soon as you said it, look, you had a third eye come out of nowhere like Enoch. You know how you're so biblical. I'm listening to you and I'm looking at the children parenting their parents. These young folks, like they know it all, see it all, but you ain't built shit yet.
Wait a minute.
You ain't get us to the.
Wait a minute.
You ain't get us to the.
That's I got you with that one, but this is about the parents that put the adult responsibilities on the children. That's what this is about. Yep, it's like flip it. You know,
like raising the siblings, like kind of putting it on them, making them cook, like
it
to the point.
Children parenting their parents. It says it right there. I'm looking at the subject, which is the children.
Right.
Parenting is the. Do you see what I'm reading? I'm not reading it wrong.
No, you reading it right.
It said, and hold on. And the emotional labor, it goes on both parties. The children are trying to understand their feelings, their emotions, how they're going to channel it to other people. First of all, they're going to practice on their parents before they deal with society. And that's when the shit might go wrong. Everybody, sit down.
Yeah, sit down.
No, he got children. He got children.
Because the first thing they do is what gets them in trouble. Let me tell you, I learned this a long time ago. I'm 42. So when I was 14, coming to New York, I should have took the 3 years that my father told me. You're a knucklehead. You don't see it. And when they say that, it's not to hurt your feelings. It's one of the disappointments is like disgust. Like you like getting in trouble, don't you? Huh? Because you think parents like to come to PTA meetings and look at the child like, oh, so you can't read all of a sudden. But I see you in the house, what you're doing. Let alone. So when you say responsibilities, concerning you, am I saying it right?
Yeah,
nah, wait a minute. Temp, you know I got you, bro. I got you. But we're not talking about children that's trying to be grown. We talking about the children that parents forces to take care of their responsibilities as adults, where they try to take the children and groom them to be adults at young ages. And it also talks about, wait a minute. It also talks about how the children, 9 times out of 10, if you got a parent that's running around smugging, you know, being irresponsible, it's normally that teenager in that house or that one about 10, 11, 12 that has to take care of their younger siblings. That's what it's talking about. Then how the child will have to end up supporting the parent emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. It's like the child is raising the parent. So it's like a flip side with this. It's not that the child is being too grown, huh?
Where is the financial support? They live in
well, that's see, that's what I'm trying to.
Wait. Mute, please. Because
you ain't gotta
they could be.
Talk. Excuse me, I'm gonna
wait, what'd you say? Can you say that one more again?
I'm gonna see you later, big brother stuff.
Right. I'm gonna help you out. Right. So, essentially, you know, because they could be on Section 8, they could be bumming around. Just because they're in a house, that doesn't mean that person is actually paying the bills, or the parent could be doing criminal activity to do that. So that's not always it. If they pay the bills, the parent also is doing that to get a house because it's a status symbol as well.
That's a true thing too. So it's not always for the kids. It could just be a status symbol. And some people just have kids just for a status symbol or to give government benefits so they can keep surviving longer.
Right. And see, this goes back once again, here, when I said a lot of adults act more immature than their children. But I was trying to get them to turn it around, because we're talking about children who parents put their responsibilities on their child. So 9 times out of 10, just like I said when we first started talking, my mother had 7 children by 7 different men. I watched my mother work to maintain the household, but she taught me how to cook, clean, sew, and all of that. So what she did, and I'm saying this again, for some people that stuff flies right over your head, she taught me at an early young age. What she did, she put a lot of pressure on me as a child to be more responsible like an adult. That's all I'm saying. You know, and a lot of times we'll look at the children with their attitudes and their behaviors, and it might be destructive, but we never wonder why. Well, if you want to know why, you need to get to the root cause of why your child, because I'll take it there too. When you got a destructive child, huh?
You got uncles, man, that used to show you how to go fishing and crabbing?
No, not that. Don't tell me I'm losing y'all grown-ups. Don't tell me I'm losing y'all grown-ups.
Man, I'm just saying, bro. My uncles used to take me to do crazy stuff in the Volkswagen Beetle, man, in DC, man. Come to Baltimore and bust some stuff up.
So they were a part of your childhood. We're not talking about that. We're talking about adults putting the responsibility on kids, or like using the kids as a moral compass.
Right.
Like
you might not. I'm sorry. You might not have experienced that, Conti, where it's like you had to raise your older 3 brothers, then you had to basically raise your 3 siblings, and you was a child yourself. See, you might not experience that yourself. So when I hear people say stuff like that, how they had to grow up real quick, because they might have been the oldest of 10, and they basically, the parents had to work, or mainly the mother. If it was the father and the mother there, it could be the same thing. But they had to raise their younger siblings because the parents had to work. So now this is what a lot of people feel like, parents. Well, because I can't feed them, I can't wash the clothes, I can't bathe them, since you here, you the oldest one, because I gotta go make this money and you play my role. Oops, did you miss it? Because you play my role. You take care of them. Because know what? That is what they're doing. So now you got a 10 or 12-year-old, right, that's trying to sit back and do everything that the parents supposed to do, then take care of their own self. And in that sense, they're losing themselves. Then when the mother come home or the father come home, and mainly the mother, say like the mother stressed out, right? The mother is stressed out. She going through her little changes. So the 10 or 12-year-old got to listen to the mother. Man, you gonna be okay. Man, you all right. That's a lot of stress on that child. But
I would say, like, there's some parents who copy what their kids do. Like, they follow their children's lead. And that's, like, what I'm saying. Like, children parenting their parents. Like, if you don't know how to do specific things, but you're looking at your kid and you're copying them, that can show jealousy and that can show resentment. And it's not like a bonding thing where y'all do it together. It's you literally following behind them and thinking the kid won't realize that.
And see, like everybody, Conti didn't experience that. So, because I look at it today, right, to this day, you have a lot of youth, right, who have to grow up quick. And because they do that, right, a lot of people might say stuff like, oh, she too fast, you know, or she hot, because she has to act a little bit more mature than what she really are. But if you catch a 10 or 12-year-old trying to act like they 15, now watch that word I said, act. You better check it out. Because if she 10 or 12 trying to act 15, something ain't right there. Because she's only 10 or 12, she's still a baby. But she's trying to be more mature than what she really are. Now, be honest with you. Excuse me, if you read in between the lines of what I'm saying, if she's 10 or 12 and she's acting like she's about 15, and then if she acting out like she's, you know, she's being sexually, and something ain't right. Because to me, around that age, 10 or 12, they should not be physically acting out like that. And then if I go a little further, I would say 15. Then prayerfully, I would at least go up to 18. But I know it's not happening like that. But I got girls, so I'm just saying. But to me, anytime you find a 10 or 12-year-old young girl sexually, to me, and if she didn't volunteer to do it just out of curiosity, then something happened. And see, that's why parents or older people would go in their heads and they'd be like, oh, she hot. Oh, she fresh. Oh, she this. No, oh, something happened to her. Let's be real. And see, that's where I had, because I'm saying I had to look at stuff like that because of what's really going on behind the scene. When you got young, impressionable girls, and the boys can be the same, and guys are watching them like uncle, granddad, cousin JoJo, you know, big brother, watching their little 5 or 6-year-old sister starting to, you know, grow a little bit. God knows, please don't let them start developing around 8 or 9. I'll be like, what the world is going on?
To add that women also do it too.
Right. That's why I said
like
that's
same sexual violence.
Yeah. And thanks to you. And I'm telling you, because look, this is stuff, it ain't just started. It ain't just started. This type of stuff been going on for God knows how long. When I did my Ancestry.com, somebody told me, they said, when you go back, you're going to find out, say like you had a family and they all in one community. So they might be in the house number 10, 12, 14, whatever, just counting the houses, right? And you might find out that the ones that live in the house number 10, it could be a daughter. It could be like a grandkid, but the father's in house number 12 and it's the uncle. You like, huh? What the what? Basically, it was the, you know, our people smexing our own people and our own young girls. And somebody told me, boys too, but somebody told me, they said, when you start doing that, you're going to find out that basically, you know, the grandfather could be the father, you know, stuff like that, right? And stuff that you don't really see straight out, you be like, yeah, right. But when you connect the dots, it'd be like, oh my God.
Right.
And it's happening right now to this day. That's the topics, Conti, children parenting their parents. So basically, we have to look at everything that it surrounds itself as. You know, a lot of the children, because of the adults, they are putting adult responsibilities on their children. Just like when you have these people in certain religion, right? And a young girl, 10, 12, she's a baby. And you want to marry her? Or she 8 or 9? I don't know, in some cities or some countries, right? She's a baby. And you a grown man, you know, and and a baby. And some countries are right with that.
Yeah. And Conti, what did you have to say?
thing. I mean, I'm looking at the prompt, man. You know, if the Baltimore guy would move out of the way, I could read the prompt. You know what
I
I'm
don't
saying?
think you can read. I don't think you can read.
Hey, man, who said that, bro?
It was the host. You're right.
Oh, man, okay. Well, anyway, man, I think it's more of a responsibility issue. When you have a child, man, your whole life changes, man. You know, which way you think about it or not, man, it's going to change your life and what you want. It's going to change everything. And I didn't even read the whole prompt. Emotional labor or modern day slavery. Yeah, same thing. Yeah. You trapped now. You got a kid, you trapped. You got to go to work. 9 to 5, 40 hours a week. Yep, you trapped.
But we're talking about like children being like the doing the emotional labor, being the slaves. Like parents, if it was taken by force, that's a different story. But we're talking about you choosing to have a child, and that's kind of your responsibility. You know what I'm saying? That's a choice. That's not like a curse put upon you by Aphrodite, right? Or by a witch. You chose to do that.
I didn't know that's how you said her name. I thought it was Aphrodite.
Whatever.
You know what I love about this topic, Conti, and I'm starting to realize just how important this topic is. Children parenting their parents. I'm just really, and I'm listening to grown-ups. I'm really realizing how parents don't understand the damn pressure they put on their teenage children or their children. And what I did here, I looked up everything so I have a better understanding of what I'm getting ready to talk about. When I said at 10 years old, I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was making market, I was making sure the bills was paid, which basically as a child, I didn't have a chance to enjoy my childhood life because a lot of adult responsibilities was pushed on me, right? So I started talking about that when I got clean guarantee, about the responsibilities that was put on me, the pressure that was put on me as a child, right? I remember as a child, my mother drank. I wasn't even old enough to go to the bar and buy my mother drink, buy my mother alcohol, and I used to go and buy my mother alcohol. So everything we're talking about, you talking about a child, man, 15 years old, going down to the liquor store, buying his mother liquor. My mother was an alcoholic. Basically, I took care of my mother, right? And I'm not saying that was a lot. Real simple, that was a lot. So I'm looking back at myself, and not just myself, children like myself, who's some are adults now, and some of them are still going through this right here, where they have to play the role of their parents because the parents is either caught up with smugs, alcohol, might be gambling, might be depression, might be whatever. But it's the child who has to comfort their parent mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And that's a lot for a child. When I say that, I'm looking at like a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old, somebody that's young, that should be really enjoying their little years, but they're trying to be grown when they aren't. And that's why I'm listening to when Temp came up, he didn't even grasp it, right? And his thing was, it was more like, well, the parents had to work and the kids this and that. And we got that part. I got that because I said it. My mother had 7 children. She had to work.
Child is, man.
But look,
you under 16, man. Come on, bro.
You don't get it.
You under
You don't get it. You don't get it. You got to listen to learn and learn to listen. Because number one, Number one, you got to listen and learn, bro. No way in the freaking world. No way. And let me say this. My youngest is 22. When Steve and them was young, I did not. It's not that we didn't show them how to clean their rooms and stuff like that. Yeah. But when it came to us as an adults, trying to fix it with our children, going to be the adults, like make them out to seem like at their young age that they are grown. No, they're not. And that's why a lot of parents wonder why their children act the way they act, because they can't see their own freaking behaviors. And that's what, and be honest with you, bro, not being smart, that's what I'm hearing right now. And that's why I said, if you never experienced it, you won't get it. Come on.
But, okay, I'm not a parent, so I shouldn't be speaking on this.
No,
but,
yes, you can.
You can speak.
If I were a parent, I would be like, I want to teach you about real life, how it's going to go down, you know what I'm saying? Without the fairy tales of religion and Santa Claus and Easter Bunny. That's just me. Am I wrong for thinking that way? I'm not going to have no kids.
You can think the way you...
Wait a minute, you how old?
You still can.
You 51.
You need to stop it, because you think you're better than me because you older than me, man. You need to stop.
No, wait, what? No.
Wait a minute, you 51?
Yeah, I can still have a baby if I want to.
Man, you ain't gonna have no baby at no daggone 51.
Yes, he can. He
Man,
can
I got a
adopt.
young chick right now from the west side, man. What you talking about,
From
bro?
the west.
Yo, hey, man.
They can still swim. He good.
I ain't saying he can't swim. If he have a baby, if he become a father at 51, how he gonna be able to hang out with the kid and show the kid how to ride a bike and all that type of stuff? I was 41 when little Steve was born. That was tough on me. So you 10 years older than me.
Bro, I can still do it, man.
I'm not saying you can't. You be. Can't be. You be 50. You 51. By the time your son get 2, rather than you pushing him around in the stroller, he gonna be pushing you around in the wheelchair.
You know what? My lineage will go on.
Just make sure your money ain't funny. Leave them at least like an estate.
Hey, Kenty, I'ma hurt you.
That's my balls, man. I got young chicks calling me, man. For real.
Yeah, but you got money though. They want your money, but I mean, I'm just being honest with you.
But look, Kenty, Lil Steve, I was 41 when Lil Steve was born. So look, I had to start getting out there throwing the baseball and all that stuff at him. And I was like, my body was like, I ain't got time for this. So you talking about 51, your body gonna be like, nope. Your body ain't gonna tell you I ain't got time for this. It's just gonna say nope. It can't tell you.
Right, it's all adjusted.
I'm just playing with you, bro.
Hey, Robert De Niro can pump one out. Hey,
Jay, stop. He will hire a nanny.
I'm just saying, Robert De Niro can pump one out. Anybody, anything's possible in this world.
That's correct. Correct, Amundo.
How that baby gonna go to school and tell everybody that his dad is 98 years old? I don't know.
That baby gonna go to school. That baby gonna go to school, Jay, with his own daggone father pamper on.
Right.
Hey. Oh shit, man.
Right.
No.
You forgot, Jay. Ooh, y'all got my stomach hurting. Jay, you forgot. Look, I'll be 64 this month, right? I do not. And my youngest granddaughter is 2. I couldn't wait when she was born. I couldn't wait to get her, hold her, play with her, change her pampers, stuff like that, right? So when I finally got home and got with her and everything, she pooped. I handed right back to her up. I said, "Hey, she need changing. My days are over with."
Right. That's all it took, right?
Yeah.
Woo!
My
Woo!
parents had me at 42, I think, because I'm the baby of an old family. So my mother was just like, when they was dealing with me, they were just like, yeah, it was some days we didn't know we was gonna get through with you.
Woo!
My sister had to do some things because like my parents, it was getting old.
I told you.
Right.
And see, that's what got me right. Once I gotta mess with Canty, right? Because Conti, because you know I love having fun, Conti. That's why I like when you come around, because we laugh and joke. But as my butt began to get a little bit older, and mind you, I started cooking Thanksgiving, Christmas, all of that, cookouts and everything, right? It got to the point my butt got tired. And once they got old enough to like cook and do all those things themselves, and when I would start go to house to house to house, and they would be like, Uncle Steve, you getting on the grill, or Daddy, you getting on the grill? I said, nope, I'm sitting there relaxing, because I raised them like that. So now it was time for y'all to do for me. And that's what I started realizing. But it was a lady, Jay, an elderly lady, because I was getting tired of like the Christmas, the Thanksgiving, you know, the turkey, the ham, the chicken. I'm cooking dinner myself, and I'm just getting tired. And it was this elderly lady told me, don't stop. She said, what you do around during the holidays like that, you get them to start bringing dishes. And once she told me that, it changed, you know. So now, say like I live by myself now, so it's not about cooking heavy like I used to, right? But when it came to the turkey, the ham, macaroni, cheese, you know, certain things that I know I'm good with, I'm going to cook. Now, as far as when I was married, she would do the sweet potatoes, the meatballs, you know, whatever like that, right? But the potato salad, macaroni, cheese, I had all that. But as time went on, bro, it was like, nah, y'all do this, you do that. But I would still do the turkey, the ham, but I didn't fry the chicken. I would get one of my nieces or a sister, somebody else. So I understood that. And that's why she was telling me, don't, you know, stop doing what you're doing, because it keeps the family together. You get me, family? So you want to still have your holiday stuff. But I'm gonna tell y'all now, at the age I am, I'll cook for my house. Don't get it wrong. I cook a little something, something, something in case the kids want to come and grab something, 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 right? But if I know my daughter or somebody over here, cooking there, and if I want to go, I go. If I don't feel like going, I stay my butt home. I stay home, because, I mean, I know I can go, but I'm getting older now, and I don't want to say I'm losing the desire for the family. I don't want to say that. Tom?
I'm 28. I hosted in 23 and 24. 25, I retired. In 2025, I said, nope, I'm not doing it this year.
You retired what?
Hosting for my family. I did Christmas and Thanksgiving in 2023 and 2024. After 2024, I was like, nope.
What you mean?
I don't blame you.
No, he means like, no. He means
I don't blame you.
like family.
Yeah, doing the family things.
Everybody
Yeah.
goes to his house.
I don't blame you. Because I'm going to tell you this. Family, not being smart. When I had 15 years clean, I buried my brother. When I had 17 years clean, I buried my aunt. After I buried my aunt, I told my family, I said, y'all better get some insurance on y'all, because I was spending my money, right? I said, y'all better get some insurance on y'all, because y'all gonna be some burnt up mother suckers. But I ain't realized people getting cremated anyway. But that's the cheapest way to go. But look, like Jay said, I'm like, yeah. And then when I was younger, Jay, thanks, Jay. When I was younger, my uncle, right? My uncle had insurance on all of us, all of my mother children and everything. And once we got old enough to, like, you know, get our own insurance, he cashed his money in. And we had to get our own insurance. So I understood, you know, how, well, from my uncle and all that too. It helped me to understand how important it is to have life insurance and all of that. Because he had life insurance on my aunt and all, I mean, my mother and all of that. So when my mother passed, he just cashed it in the burial. See, I didn't know it at the time, but I learned over the years that my uncle, that was more like the he was like a father to us, Jay. I mean, Conte, I'm sorry, family. But he was like dad. And when he passed, I cried. But because he was like that absent father. you know, but he was my uncle, but he was like that absent father. God dang it, that's why my niece told me that. Because I was in their life filling that role of that father. And that's how my uncle was. You know, and my uncle taught me too, Conti, that it's a poor rat that had one hole to run in and out of. So I had a wife at home and I had about 10 or 20 mistresses like around the city.
Life insurance is very important because my uncle runs a funeral home. The most basic service will still run you about $7,000. And I mean, that's like a basic service. So I mean, he might get up there for 5 minutes and give you a prayer. And
Jay ain't lying. Jay ain't lying because look, Jay, and thank you because look, this is what I was planning on doing too. I wanted to, it's not heavy on me like it used to be. Like do pre-arrangements for people, like put money on the side where we can help you bury your family, you know, a family member if you don't have the money. And it kind of slipped past me, but that was something I wanted to get into too, putting money to the side. But all of that,
I do that with my church members all the time, especially some of those ones that get up there and start hitting those 40s, 50s, and you know where health starts to become a serious problem. I say, do you have a plan for when you pass? Because I don't want that burden to go onto your family because it will be a burden financially.
Jay, I'm gonna hurt you. Is that Pastor Jay?
Yeah.
He passed his. I mean, he changed his daggone thing.
Yeah,
That's.
I changed my picture.
I thought so when I was saying you, but I wasn't sure. Yeah. Ain't nobody mess with you, Conti. Well, Conti, what did you say?
See, one of you people, Baltimore people, what's going on with this guy?
No, I'm from Jersey.
No. He from Jersey, but no, I was used to his other picture. That's why I knew the voice sound familiar. I was just trying to be sure. But now I'm gonna go back to Pastor. Since Conti, you act like you don't know what the prompt is about. Parents, and I know you know, Pastor, parents putting their responsibilities on their, you know, children to be, you know, like their substitutes. That's what we talking about. So I know you'll know.
Black community.
Yeah.
That runs super deep. That eldest child used to get a burden on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by default, that's the kid raising the parent in a way, because if I have to raise the siblings and then you're kind of looking at me as the parent, as the example, that's basically me teaching you how you should raise your kids. And it's like you're my dependent too, because the kid also has to deal with the parent's emotional maturity level and their status. So if the parent is off when they come home from work, then the kid has to take the brunt of that, like the anger and everything.
Love y'all.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that went deep. I had a great aunt named Eleanor.